Okay, so something pretty interesting just happened in the housing market. All of a sudden, the number of homes for sale took a nosedive. So is this just the usual end-of-year cool-down, or is something else going on? Let's dig in and figure this out.
Right, let's get straight to the heart of the mystery. We know the number of available homes just dropped. The real question, the one that tells us everything, is why. Because the answer could change the game for a lot of people.
First things first, let's just get a handle on the raw numbers. What does this sudden drop actually look like?
So rewind to the start of the week. At that point, there were about 857,000 single-family homes for sale across the country. You know, not bad, right? A pretty solid number.
And then, bam, just 7 days later. That's the number. A pretty noticeable dip in a really short amount of time.
Let me put that another way for you. More than 14,000 listings just vanished. I mean, that's not a small adjustment, and it happened in the blink of an eye. So what's the deal?
All right, so like any good detective story, we've got a couple of main suspects, and the data is pointing us in two very different directions for this sudden drop.
So in one corner we have suspect number one, good old seasonal decline. It's late in the year, winter's coming, it is totally normal for fewer people to list their homes. It happens every single year, like clockwork. But in the other corner we have suspect number two, a sudden surge in demand. This theory says that a whole bunch of buyers just jump back into the market and they're snapping up houses faster than usual.
So, what's the real story here? Are we just seeing that predictable winter slowdown, the one we expect every year? Or is a new wave of buyers completely changing the equation? The clues are all in the data, so let's go follow the trail. Okay, let's play detective. It's time to follow the data trail and see which one of our suspects has the stronger case.
Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. When you put this year's numbers side by side with the exact same week last year, a huge clue just pops right out.
So check this out. The first thing you notice is that even with that big weekly drop, we still have way more homes for sale right now than we did a year ago. We're talking over 120,000 more. So for buyers, the landscape is definitely still better. But, and this is a big but, that's not the whole story. Because here's the twist. The growth we've been seeing all year, well, it's hitting the brakes hard. In this chart, man, it tells the whole story right here. A few months ago, in the prime selling season, inventory was growing at this massive 33% clip compared to the year before. Today, look at that. It's been sliced in half, down to just 16%. This massive slowdown is like a giant flashing sign pointing right at suspect number two. Rising demand is absolutely a factor here. Okay, we've got the evidence, we've followed the clues, let's piece this all together, deliver the final verdict, and talk about what it all means. This lines up perfectly with what analysts like Logan Montashami over at HousingWire are seeing. He's called it a much more buyer-friendly marketplace. And he's right, that's still true, but the ground is definitely shifting under our feet.
So the verdict is in, and it's a classic plot twist. It wasn't one suspect or the other, it was both of them working together. The usual seasonal slowdown has kicked in, for sure, but this new wave of buyer demand is basically throwing gasoline on that fire, making inventory drop way faster than we'd normally expect. The bottom line? The market's getting tighter, even though it's still in a better spot for buyers than it was a year ago.
So what does all this mean for you? Well, if you're a buyer, the good news is you definitely have more choices than you did last year. The kind of bad news? That window of opportunity might be closing faster than you think. Competition is absolutely heating back up. And that leaves us with the million-dollar question, right? We're in a more balanced, buyer-friendly market at this moment, but with demand rising and inventory falling, you really have to wonder for how long.